On a stormy Tuesday afternoon at Oakwood Cemetery in Kansas, relentless rain and jagged lightning set the stage for a day that would change everything. Under the shelter of dark umbrellas, mourners gathered around the polished mahogany coffin of John Carter, a beloved farmer now mourned by his wife, Helen, and daughter, Emma. The somber ceremony was abruptly shattered by frantic barking. Out of the swirling rain emerged Apollo, John's loyal German shepherd, his paws muddied from the downpour as he charged toward the assembled crowd. In that heart-stopping moment, Apollo leapt into the fray, his determined paws battering the coffin's lid until a sharp, splintering crack split the silence. Amid the chaos and thunder, a soft human cry seeped through the broken wood, a cry that would etch itself into every onlooker's memory. This is not just a story of loss but one of unwavering devotion and second chances. Welcome to Acts of Kindness Stories, where we bring you true tales of compassion and courage that remind us that even in our darkest hours, love can light the way. John Carter's life was woven into the very soil of his farm, a sanctuary where animals found refuge and hope. For decades, John had nurtured a deep bond with every living creature on his land. From mending injured birds to sheltering abandoned calves, he believed that every life deserved dignity. His days were spent tending to his crops and caring for animals that others had given up on. This dedication, however, was not always understood by everyone in his family. At the heart of the farm's story was Apollo, a steadfast German shepherd whose loyalty and resilience mirrored John's own unyielding spirit. Apollo was more than a pet. He was a silent guardian and a vital part of the community. While John's wife, Helen, and daughter, Emma, admired his compassionate approach, his pragmatic son, Michael Carter, struggled with the constant tension between sentiment and financial survival. Michael saw the sanctuary as an unsustainable drain on resources, a burden that threatened the farm's future. As the years passed, Michael's frustration grew. Business-minded and practical, he began advocating for drastic changes, proposals that would transform the sanctuary into a profit-driven enterprise. His arguments were steeped in numbers and projections, values John had long set aside in favor of a heartfelt mission. Their debates, simmering with unspoken grief and resentment, cast a long shadow over the family's unity. Yet John persisted in his mission, steadfast in his belief that compassion could heal wounds that profit alone never could. Tragedy struck one fateful day when a fierce barn fire threatened everything John had built. The blaze roared through the aging structure, fueled by years of neglect and faulty wiring, reducing irreplaceable memories and work to ash. In the chaos, John found himself trapped, his body weakened by years of labor and the relentless march of time. The flames and smoke converged into a suffocating nightmare, and it seemed that fate had finally drawn a line in the sand. But in the midst of despair, Apollo emerged as an unexpected hero. Despite his own aging frame and battered paws, Apollo navigated through the fire and smoke with an intensity born of loyalty and instinct. With every determined bark and every desperate leap, the dog fought to save his master. When John's consciousness flickered between life and death, Apollo's intervention altered the course of that tragic day. Michael's earlier insistence on restructuring the farm, though born out of financial urgency, paled in the light of the life-saving bond between a man and his dog. In the hospital, as John's condition stabilized after a harrowing rescue, the family was forced to confront their conflicting priorities. Helen and Emma saw in Apollo's unwavering determination a symbol of everything precious and irreplaceable about their father's way of life. Michael, however, remained caught between practicality and the raw, unyielding emotion of witnessing his father's vulnerability. The crisis became a turning point, a moment when the true cost of neglecting what was sacred could no longer be ignored. Yet the saga was far from over. As the family struggled to find balance between preserving the legacy of compassion and addressing financial realities, Michael made a decision that would shatter the fragile trust they had begun to rebuild. Without John's knowledge or consent, Michael arranged for Apollo's removal from the sanctuary. His plan was presented as a necessary measure to secure the farm's debts and ensure a stable future, but to Helen and Emma, it was a betrayal that cut deeper than any fiscal loss. The fallout was swift and painful. Michael's calculated maneuver to have Apollo evaluated and potentially sold to a wealthy collector sent shockwaves through the family. The sanctuary that had once been a haven for the downtrodden and the lost was suddenly at risk of becoming just another commodity. The emotional chasm widened as Michael defended his actions in hushed tones, insisting that the sacrifice was for the greater good, while Helen and Emma could only see the cost of severing the bond that had defined their father's life. The tension reached its climax on the day of John's memorial service. The sky was overcast, and the air was heavy with sorrow as the family and community gathered in the cemetery. The funeral procession, meant to honor John's enduring legacy, took an unexpected and heart-wrenching turn. Amid the mourners' subdued conversation and the soft cadence of the pastor's words, a familiar bark shattered the solemnity. Apollo, against all odds and despite being slated for removal, had found his way back. With determination etched into every line of his weathered face, Apollo charged toward the open casket. His paws, hardened by years of hardship and recent trials, pounded the polished wood with a force that seemed to echo the heartbeat of the farm itself. In that moment, a crack reverberated through the air as the lid began to splinter. A faint, almost imperceptible cry emerged from within, a sound that carried with it the weight of all that had been sacrificed and all that was still possible. The sight of Apollo's desperate actions stirred a tumult of emotions among the assembled. To some, it was a moment of divine intervention, a clear message that the bond between a man and his loyal companion was inviolable. For others, it was a stark reminder of how easily the purity of intent could be overshadowed by practical concerns. Helen and Emma stood transfixed, tears mingling with the rain as they realized that Apollo's return was not just an act of loyalty. It was a call to remember what truly mattered. In the chaos that ensued, family members scrambled to restore order. Michael's carefully constructed plans were unraveling in real time as Apollo's relentless quest for his master highlighted the deep chasm between cold calculation and heartfelt devotion. The moment was a living testament to the power of unconditional love, a force that could mend broken bonds and breathe life into a weary soul. Even as accusations and regrets were exchanged in fragmented whispers, one truth remained undeniable. The spirit of compassion was not something that could be quantified or compromised. In the days that followed, as John slowly recovered in the hospital under the constant watch of devoted nurses and the unyielding presence of Apollo by his bedside, the entire community was forced to grapple with the lessons of that unforgettable day. The narrative of the sanctuary had shifted. No longer could it be defined solely by spreadsheets and balance sheets. It was a living, breathing entity, nurtured by acts of kindness and anchored by the steadfast loyalty of a dog who refused to let go. John's subsequent letter, penned in moments of quiet reflection, laid bare his deepest hopes and regrets. He spoke not of numbers, but of the intrinsic worth of every life that had ever trodden the fields of the farm. His words, measured and heartfelt, acknowledged the mistakes of the past while extending an olive branch for the future. A future where the sanctuary could flourish not as a mere business venture but as a beacon of hope, education, and compassion. This chapter of John Carter's life, marked by both profound loss and miraculous redemption, resonated deeply within the hearts of all who knew him. The farm, once a battleground for conflicting ideologies, slowly began to transform. Conversations shifted from debates over profit margins to discussions about nurturing life and preserving the legacy of kindness that had defined John's every action. Apollo's unwavering presence served as a constant reminder that the true measure of success lay not in material gain, but in the depth of love and the strength of our commitments. As the community rallied to support the healing of a family torn by strife, the sanctuary emerged as a symbol of renewed purpose. It was a place where financial pressures were balanced by the undeniable value of every living creature, a place where lessons in empathy and resilience were woven into the fabric of everyday life. John's journey, punctuated by moments of both despair and transcendent joy, became an enduring testament to the transformative power of compassion. In retelling this story, we recognize that every trial, every tear shed in the darkness, was a step toward rediscovering what it means to care for one another. The legacy of John Carter and Apollo stands as an education in the art of living, a reminder that while challenges may force us to confront our deepest fears, It is love and kindness that ultimately guide us home. As twilight settled over the rejuvenated farm, a sense of healing and quiet determination blanketed the fields. John Carter, now a living testament to the power of compassion and resilience, sat in his favorite rocking chair on the porch, the soft murmur of the evening blending with the rustle of the wind through the corn. Apollo, his once tireless guardian, rested faithfully at his feet, an enduring symbol of loyalty that had mended broken hearts and bridged deep divides. In the days that followed, the Carter family began to rediscover the true meaning of their legacy. Michael, who had long clung to practicality, slowly recognized that the true wealth of the farm lay not in spreadsheets and profit margins, but in the lives touched and nurtured by John's unwavering kindness. Conversations grew warmer and more reflective as the family rallied around the shared memory of trials overcome, a reminder that the spirit of empathy and commitment could transform even the most painful chapters into lessons for tomorrow. The farm itself seemed to breathe new life. Where once there had been tension and discord, a renewed commitment to care and sustainability blossomed. Neighbors, once distant, now lent helping hands, and local schools invited John to share his story, a narrative that inspired many to view challenges as opportunities for growth and connection. Every corner of the land resonated with the promise of second chances, echoing the heartfelt truth that no setback is final when love and determination lead the way. If this story of unwavering devotion, redemption, and the transformative power of kindness has touched you, we invite you to join our community. Like, share, and comment below with your thoughts and experiences. And don't forget to subscribe to Acts of Kindness Stories as we journey toward 10,000 subscribers. Together, we can continue to spread hope, inspire change, and remind the world that every act of kindness, no matter how small, can make a lasting impact. Thank you for watching, and remember, in every challenge lies the opportunity to embrace love and create a brighter future.